Hello and welcome to Coffee with Carrie. I'm laughing just thinking about the title of this episode today. Do you even know you're doing this? That's so funny. Because I think the people don't always realize how they're coming across or the things that they're doing when they have a little bit of nerves playing into it and they're not as grounded in a situation as they are typically in their life. But you know what I have the benefit of? Very often with my matchmaking clients, I have the benefit of feedback from the other person. So I always get to hear two sides of the story as to what took place on that date. And these are the really common things that people do, and sometimes they're surprised by them. So do you even know you're doing these things? Stick around. I've got 8 of them today, and number 1 is being overly flirtatious, making a lot of jokes that are double entendres. And then I recommend, if you're into somebody, doing a little bit of touching, but you would be surprised how many times a guy will say, "Really? She doesn't want to see me again? I felt like she was like touching me all night long. She had her hand on my leg at one point. Every time she laughed, she put her hand on my arm. When we walked out the door, she put her arm through mine." So just be careful. I mean, you can do that if you're not interested, if that makes your evening more enjoyable, but just know that you're sending out signals you might not want to be sending out if this is a person you're not interested in seeing again, because some people don't know they're doing that. And also what goes along with number 1 is making out at the end of the date, but I think everybody knows they're doing that, and they know they're doing that even if they don't want to see the other person again, so we won't even talk about that one. That's a conscious decision, and you know you're doing that. Number 2, arguing. You might not think it's arguing, but some people view constantly playing the devil's advocate or taking the opposing viewpoint as being argumentative. And I'll have people say, "Wow, she just like wanted to argue with me," or "He just kept wanting to push his point of view." And the other person was saying, "Really, I just thought we were kind of sharing our opinions." So I think it has to do with an intensity around it perhaps. And if you don't know that you're doing that, that you come across really like opinionated or with very strong opinions, you might want to take a look at that and see if that is what you're trying to convey on a first date. You might not even know you're doing this. Number 3, rushing. Not through the meal, but into a relationship. Do you realize that sometimes if you take a certain approach to the future in your conversations, you might be scaring somebody? I have had people say, "Wow, he moves really fast. He was already planning our 5th date for 6 months from now." Or he'd say, "Wow, she already had me as a guest to her sister's wedding next summer." Or just be careful the way you talk about future plans. I love the idea, if you're having a good time, of saying, "Hey, I have tickets for something next week. Maybe, give me a call if you're interested in going. I would love to have you join me." Totally fine, but watch how far out, or talking about your future in ways that take their opinion on how this date is going off the table, because I'm sure you don't even know you're doing this. Number 4, monopolizing the conversation. It's just a nerve thing for most people. Some people get quiet when they get nervous. Other people, it makes them super chatty and they just can take over a conversation. They start talking faster sometimes. They want to jump in to fill every silence. They jump from one topic to the next just because they don't want to hear the sound of people clinking glasses around them. Or in Zoom video dating, the silence is even more obvious because there's nothing except maybe you have some music playing, I don't know. But I always tell people to avoid this if you know that that is part of your makeup, that you're probably going to jump in to fill all the quiet spots, and nerves get you all hopped up on energy and make you even more excited to share and to talk. Then just aim to do 40% of the talking, not 50, which is what most people would say. No, it's a 50-50 thing. For you, maybe keep in mind, I want to get him or her talking a little bit more. So I'm going to aim to do 40% and keep tossing the ball back in their court. That can be helpful if you're doing that and you don't know it. Being dismissive to the wait staff. Do you even know you're doing this? Some people don't know they're doing this. I think people just think I'm focused on getting to know her and I'm just going to focus here and this is a distraction out here. So no, we don't need anything. But whoever you're with is assuming that that's how you really treat people when you're not on your best behavior and engaged in a one-on-one conversation. That's part of your personality they're seeing, and they're making assumptions about that. So be aware of the fact that here in this moment, this is you planet, and these are all people in the universe around you, and they all get treated the way you want to be treated. And that know that the other person you're with is paying attention to that. In fact, it's one of the priorities of so many people that I talk to with date coaching and matchmaking. When I ask them their top things they want, they say, I want somebody kind, I want somebody who has good manners and is nice to waitstaff. Because you know what? It makes it seem like you think you're better than them because they have a job serving people, and that is not good manners and it's not kindness, and I guarantee you that person sitting across from you is looking for kindness and good manners. Number 6, inadvertently hijacking the conversation. It happens all the time. It's almost sort of funny, but it's sort of sad for the person who is sitting there while it's being hijacked. And very often when it happens, it's because something or other important to the person has happened just prior to the date. A real estate transaction that this person was in the middle of, and that's what their day had looked like, and they wanted to rehash it, which is what you might want to do with your friend or a parent or the person in your life that you share all your important happenings with, but you want to know who you don't share that with in great detail? Your first date. Did you even know you're doing this? Just check in with yourself every once in a while and ask yourself, has the other person talked in 20 minutes? That will maybe help you realize that you've hijacked the conversation, derailed it, taken it down a one-way road to something that happened to you today. Don't forget, the idea is to get to know this other person too, not just share what's busying up your mind space today with them or dump on them your day. It's a give and take, a back and forth, and aim to do 40% of the talking. Number 7, drinking too much. Some people don't know their limits. Some people know that they have a limit that's before their limit. I know on that celebrity matchmaker show with Patty, the millionaire matchmaker, she gave everybody a 2-drink maximum. And I don't give my clients a maximum unless there's been feedback that they don't know their limit, in which case I have. Because I said, hey, when you're going on to the second location and the third location, it's the same with dating as it is with somebody who's kidnapping you. You never go to the second location. Not on a first date, and certainly not at gunpoint. In the case of a date, leave them wanting more. Don't go to the second location because you're bound to drink a little bit more. And you don't maybe make the same decisions after 4 drinks that you do after 2. Loosens up your inhibitions. People have regretted where the date went, even if it was something as innocuous as making out in the car for an extra 4 hours after the date ended. Stay in control of your date and in control of your alcohol consumption. You're a grown-up. You should know what that is. For me, I don't even drink on dates. For some people, it's a 2-drink or a 3-drink. Other people know when they switch to soda or coffee. Just know you, do you, and make sure that the focus isn't on getting wild and crazy, it's on getting to know this person. And number 8, my final question we might have to ask ourselves is, are we talking too much about our ex? Common, very, very common, and most people don't know they're doing this when I bring it to their attention. And one of the tips here for you to not do that is to not do that. But the other thing comes up often in conversations that we have here, and that is, you know what, we went to Rome. We loved the Trevi Fountain. In fact, my ex, she had to ask like 12 strangers for some coins because we didn't have any. She laughed so hard and got in that she actually went in there. Don't be telling the story about her. Tell the story about you. Figure out how to change your story so they're not about we and us and her. If you're a guy, it's about me. Yeah, I went to the Trevi Fountain. It was beautiful. I walked over there coming from such and such, and I made a great wish and it came true. So make it about yourself and learn how to reframe and rephrase your stories so that those experiences can be relayed to another person where they're about you and not you as part of a couple. That's kind of helpful to think about ahead of time, some of those stories you tell. And when somebody asks you, so what happened with your last relationship, have that elevator pitch ready. You don't want to go on about why it ended or what you didn't agree on and how you're getting along now and why he's not being fair about this and you're still arguing about that. Instead, you know what? We're working on it. He's a really great guy. He's great at co-parenting. It just didn't work out. We just kind of went down different paths, but we do our best to get along for the kids' sake. That's an elevator pitch. Keep it to that. No venting, no sharing of the reasons why or your complaints about another person. Save those conversations for another day. Down the road, when you two know each other better and you've established something between the two of you, because you know what that conversation about your ex does? Kills chemistry. Did you even know you were doing that? I hope you found some of these helpful or found it interesting at least. I hope you will leave a comment, maybe hit that button that looks like a hand with a thumb up, maybe subscribe to my channel so that we can do this again sometime. I would look forward to having you back, and I appreciate you being here today. Until that next time, have a good one.